today's practice, we're going to be working towards a headstand, which is an inversion. There will be options to go all the way into it, options to hold back. So just practice in what feels right for you. If anything starts to hurt, that's a sign that it's time to back out. And if anything is feeling super easy and accessible, maybe it's time to take that plunge and try something more difficult. So as always, listen to your body, listen to your breath. And we're going to get started in a child's pose. Coming to hands and knees, bring your big toes to kiss. Bring your knees as wide as the mat. Walk your hands forward and bow your forehead towards the floor. Keep your arms active here, so forearms are up off the mat, they're not resting down. And start to breathe in and out of your nose. Notice all the points that your body makes, contacting the floor beneath you. Notice the way your body's moving with your breath. Where does it move in your inhales? Where does it move with your exhales? Notice the pace of your breath. And check in with your state of mind. Notice the quality of your thoughts. And just take note of where you're starting from today. So from here, become more intentional with your breath. Start to balance it out, making your inhales and your exhales equal in length. Try to continue breathing through your nose throughout this practice, but know that it's okay to open your mouth at any point. Draw your breath deep into your belly, feeling expansion in your belly, your low back and your sides with each inhale, and contraction as you exhale. And set aside any of those thoughts or feelings that may try to distract you throughout this practice. Know that anything that's important to you will be waiting for you when you're done. And know that those things that are not so important to you are ready to let go. We'll take just a moment here, settling in, really tuning into the here and the now. Using this time to practice being present. Take another big breath in, and a full breath out. As you next inhale, start to walk your hands towards your body. You're going to bring your knees together and sit back onto your heels. So coming into a hero's pose, lift your shoulders up by your ears, roll them onto your back. Maybe notice the difference in your breath here, where you're more upright, where your belly is exposed, there's not compression. So another child's pose is there for you anytime throughout this practice that you'd like to return to it, for any reason that you have. Okay. Bump your hips to either side. Swing your feet around. Stretch your legs out long. Flex your toes up towards your face. We're going to give the legs a little extra chance to warm up today. So from here we'll come into Janu Sirsasana. Bring the sole of your right foot into your left thigh. Square up towards your left foot. Inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, melt over your left leg. Release your hands down. Grab hold if you'd like. Just rest your hands if you'd like. Try to keep your shoulders even. Notice if one is popping up above the other. Use your inhales to lengthen your spine. Use your exhales to relax into this fold, even just a smidge more. With your next inhale, walk your hands towards your body, lift your torso upright, and we'll swap sides, stretch the right leg long, bring the left foot in, square up towards the right leg, inhale, lift those arms, sit tall, exhale, melt forward. Same thing, other side. Check out your shoulders, check in with your spine. With your next inhale, walk your hands towards your body, lift your torso upright. Stretch your legs out long and separate your feet, coming into a wide leg seat. Toes are still flexed. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here. Sit up nice and tall as if you're leaning back against a wall. Inhale and exhale. Your next inhale, stretch your arms overhead. And exhale, start to melt forward. Release your hands down to the floor whenever you'd like. Use them for support. Make sure your toes are still pointing up. Your feet don't start to flop in or out. Your legs are active. One more breath here. And use your following inhale to lift your torso back upright. And exhale, relax. Now bending your knees, bring the soles of your feet in together. Have as much or as little space in between your heels and your body as you'd like. Again, starting with a tall spine, sitting upright. And use your next exhale to melt forward. Allow your upper body to be heavy here. Really nice inhale, come back upright. And exhale, relax. Ooh. Good, so meet me in tabletop, coming to hands and knees. We'll get some spinal movements going here. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders, starting with a neutral spine. Draw your navel in towards your spine, engage your core. So even when we come into cow pose, hammocking your belly, you're still engaging your abdominal muscles. You're not letting your belly just sink down and sag down to the floor. It's a very intentional stretch and movement. So coming from this neutral tabletop, inhale, hammock your belly, bring your heart forward, arch your back into cow. As you exhale, round your back and lift your spine, coming into cat. We'll take 2 more just like this. Inhaling to arch, exhaling to round. And inhaling back to neutral. Take a little sassy cat, get some lateral movement. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your right hip and shoulder towards each other. Maybe even peek over your right shoulder. So feel that stretch and that opening through the left side of your body. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale, left hip and shoulder come together. Open through the right side body. Inhale to center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the left. Take 2 more stretches in each direction, using your own breath as your guide. Returning to neutral center when you're done. And this next one is going to feel a little goofy, especially if you've never done it before. Trying to keep your spine as neutral as possible, so no arching or rounding. Start to draw your shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze those muscles in your upper back. Now draw your shoulder blades away from each other. Really opening through those muscles in your shoulders and your upper back. Draw them together and draw them away. Do this a couple more times. Trying to keep your spine as neutral as possible, allowing the movement to come from your shoulders. And take 1 more dip, 1 more lift, and come on back to center. Ground your right hand down into the mat. Inhale, stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, thread your left arm under your right, coming in to thread the needle. Relax your left shoulder down, followed by your head. And then walk your right fingertips towards the front of your mat if that feels all right. Act as if you're pressing the mat away from you so this arm and this shoulder are still engaged. Try to keep your hips above your knees. One more breath here. Then walk your right hand back under your shoulder. Inhale, press into the mat. Take a little counter stretch, left arm up. And exhale, release. Going right into the other side. Ground down through your left hand. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. Exhale, thread it under. Relax your shoulder and your head. And if it feels alright, walk those left fingertips out. Press your palm into the mat as if you're stretching your mat away from you. Inhale, walk your left hand under your shoulder, press into the mat, unwind, counter stretch, and exhale, release. And from here, we'll take a puppy pose. So different options available. So maybe you just bring your elbows down to the floor underneath your shoulders. Allow your heart to melt down towards the floor, but try not to sink into your shoulders. So your back is starting to arch. You're not keeping your spine long here. Another option is to walk your arms out in front of you, still letting your heart melt down towards the floor. And if you're ready, you can have your chest resting on the floor, maybe even your chin on the floor facing forward. One more breath here. Slowly, gently coming out of the pose. Bringing your hands back under your shoulders. Walk your knees towards each other, big toes together. Sit back on your heels and bow your forehead towards the floor. So coming into another variation of child's pose. This one is nice after back bend because it allows your back to round and it's a very passive stretch. You can even walk your hands back by your feet if that feels nice. Two more breaths here. And walk your hands out in front of you. Lift on up to your tabletop and make your way to downward facing dog. Go ahead and find any organic movement that's calling to you. Or just rest in stillness if that's what your body is asking for. Come to stillness. Take another big breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, coming forward to plank. From your plank, we're going to be here for a little bit. So, option to be up on your toes or come down to your knees. You want a long line between your knees and your shoulders, whichever version you choose. So just make sure you're not lifting your hips up or dipping them down in either variation. So you want a nice strong line of energy. So whatever version you choose, start to shift your weight into your left hand. Slide your left hand into center, sorry. And then shift your weight into your left hand. Inhale, stretch your right arm up. So not twisting into a side plank. Just try lifting it up with a small twist in your back. So keep your hips down to the floor. And we're going to switch sides. Float the right hand down, walk it to center. Shift your weight into your right hand, hips towards the floor. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left hand down. Coming back to your neutral plank. Be strong here. One more big breath in. And downward facing dog. Pedal out, wiggle around, whatever is calling to you here. With your next, or if you're moving around, come to stillness. Use an inhale to gaze forward, come back forward into your plank. And this time we're going to go halfway down, chaturanga. So if you're going to your knees, that's totally fine. Either way, you want your elbow creases to turn forward. So as you start to bend your elbows, they go backwards instead of outward like a push-up. So if you're up on your toes, shift forward. And then wherever you are, exhale halfway down. Bring your chest to a hover for 3, 2, 1, all the way down to the floor. Bring your hands next to your chest. Inhale up, cobra pose. Lift your chin and chest off the mat. Press your palms. Keep your lower belly down on the floor. Press the tops of your feet down so your legs are active. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Make sure you're still breathing. breath in. Exhale, release. Inhale, press up through plank or tabletop, and exhale, downward facing dog. Shake your head no, nod your head yes. Take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. With an inhale, lift your right foot up, three-legged dog. Exhale, big step forward, bring your foot in between your hands, lower your left knee down and untuck your toes. So you're looking for stretch in the left hip flexor. As you lift your torso upright, you're going to feel a difference of sensation in that hip from when your hands are down on the floor. So bring your knee forward or backwards as much as you need to. The right knee stays above the right ankle. And then check in with your belly and your low back. Make sure you're not pushing your belly forward, sinking into your low back. Your core is still active here. And you'll stretch your arms overhead and drop your shoulders away from your ears. See if you can sink downward just a little bit more, if that's in your practice. If not, that's fine, just stay put. While you're here, you're going to release your right hand down. Your left hand comes behind your head and then down behind your neck. Point your left elbow up towards the ceiling. Up towards the ceiling. Couple options here. You can use your right hand, gentle pressure on the elbow to keep it upright. Or you can reach your right hand behind your back towards your left fingers. Maybe they connect, maybe they don't. Coming into cow face arms. Another big breath in and out. Inhale, release your arms, stretch them back up. Exhale, float them down, tuck your left toes under, lift your knee, take a little hop forward, and plant your left heel down. Keeping your right knee above your right ankle, lift your torso upright, hips and shoulders are still squared towards the short edge of your mat, and lift your arms overhead. Warrior one. If you find that your balance is a little off today, you may want more space in between your feet. Over time, you're working on lining up your front heel to your back arch. But again, that's over time as you get to it. It's more important that your hips are squared forward. Then exhale, sweep your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, reach your hands down towards the floor, open your chest without puffing it out. Option to stay right here or use an exhale, bowing into humble warrior, bringing your right shoulder on the inside of your right knee, letting the crown of your head reach towards the floor. Your hands will reach away from your back. If you've bowed forward, use an inhale, slowly come back up. And then everybody stretch your arms overhead, returning to your warrior one. You're using an exhale, float your hands down to the floor, step back to plank. So again, come down to your knees if you'd prefer. Navel towards your spine, shoulder blades apart. Breathe. Now this time we're going to actually come into side plank. Bring your left hand to the center of your mat. Roll onto the outside edges of the outside of your left foot, inside of your right foot, and open up. inversion, bring that left knee down. If you'd like, you can stack that right foot on top of your left. Try not to let your hips sink here. Keep lifting them up. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to sweep your right hand underneath your left arm. Inhale, back up. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, up. And one more time. Exhale, sweep. Inhale, up. And exhale to plank. Good. Set yourself up. If you're on your toes, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, everybody halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog this time. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe here. Check in with your heart rate. Check in with your state of mind. And when you're ready, you're going to inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, big step forward. Drop that right knee down, untuck your toes, setting up for your low lunge on this side. Getting a good amount of stretch in this right hip flexor this time. Lifting your arms up when you are ready. Tangling up into those cow face arms, go ahead and release your left hand down. Bend your right elbow, bring your right hand behind your neck. So again, option to bring your left hand to your elbow, gentle tug to help lift your right elbow up. Or reaching your left hand behind your back towards your right fingers. Maybe you connect, maybe you don't, doesn't even matter. Slowly start to untangle. Lift those arms up. Exhale, float your hands down. Tuck your toes under, lift your knee, tiny hop forward. Plant your heel down. Left knee is still over your ankle. Lift your torso up. Check out those hips. And raise your arms up for warrior one when you're ready. With your exhale, float your hands down behind your back. Crisscross your fingers the opposite way of what you did the first time. Stretch your hands down towards the floor. Try not to puff out your chest or your belly. Stay right where you are, or use an exhale, bow forward, humble warrior. If you bow forward, inhale, come back upright. Everybody release your hands, stretch them back up. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back to plank. We got the other side plank to do here. So choose your adventure here. Bring your right hand into the center. Open up to the left. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, thread your left arm under the right side body. Inhale to lengthen up. Exhale under. Inhale up. Last one, exhale under. Inhale up. And exhale, release. Come back to your regular plank. Hold here. your regular plank, come on down to your elbows to a dolphin plank. From your dolphin plank, relax your hips down to the floor, untuck your toes, reach your heart forward, stretch your spine long, coming into Sphinx pose. From Sphinx pose, bring your hands together, stack one on top of the other, bring your elbows wide, rest your forehead down. Alright, so we're going to be working towards our headstand now. It's a great time to grab a little sip of water if you'd like. If you want to set up near a wall to practice your headstand, you can scoot yourself over. If you don't want to practice headstand, don't worry, we've got options. So when it comes to headstand, it's super important that you come to the crown of your head if you're going into the pose. Not your forehead, not your hairline, not way back. That would be kind of impressive, but no, you don't want to do that. So crown of your head. And when you go and lift yourself up, you only want 30% or less weight in your head. You want your arms, your elbows, your forearms, your hands to be doing more of the work, to be bearing more of the weight. If you feel like you're going to fall out, try not to land on the tops of your toes. That could hurt. If you feel like you're starting to fall backwards, round your back so you don't slap onto the floor real hard. You don't want to hurt your back. It's fun though, you know. Just if you fall, get up, try again. So what we are going to do is come into a dolphin pose first. So dolphin pose, you come down onto your elbows just like we did in the plank. And you are going to, let's start in our dolphin plank. That's the easiest way to start into dolphin pose. So elbows are under the shoulders, middle fingers point forward. Start to walk your feet forward, similar to a downward facing dog, but you're keeping your shoulders above your wrist, or above your elbows. You're not pushing them back. It's okay to bend your knees, just like in down dog, totally fine. So you may start to feel quite a bit of sensation through your shoulders here. So this is always an option. And now walk your feet back, coming into your plank. And now you're going to interlace your fingers. And you're going to do this so that you have a basket. So they're not tight together. You're going to have some space between your palms because ultimately this is going to come to the back of your head. So if your palms are together, it's just your wrists that are touching your head. So you want to create this basket that's going to help support your head. So palms away from each other, fingers interlaced. Back to your plank. Good. So from here, start rocking forward and backwards on your toes. Maybe reaching your chin towards your fingertip or towards your knuckles. It's another great exercise for building strength if you're not ready to work on your headstand. Alright, so coming back to stillness, basket is made. You're going to start walking your feet forward just like in your dolphin pose. So maybe this time you start to place the crown of your head on the floor and scoot it back so the back of your head comes into that basket. Bend your knees as much as you'd like. And maybe you start lifting up onto the tippy toes and press into your elbows so you feel the lift coming from your upper body strength rather than a hop. Try not to hop here. So it's hard to talk and do this at the same time. The next step is going to be bringing your hips above your shoulders. So knees can be tucked in, or you can start to lift your knees towards the ceiling. So anytime you need to take a break, come down, take a few moments in child's pose, rest. So having your knees up towards the ceiling and your feet tucked in is said to actually be more difficult than coming into the actual headstand. But the next step is to straighten those legs up towards the ceiling. So we'll take a few moments to play with that. You can try any of those stages. You can practice any of those moves. And then when you're done, take your time. We'll take a few more moments here. But when you're done, do come down into your child's pose. So take your time getting there. Maybe you want to hang tight and catch up with the video later. Take your time. If you're having a lot of fun practicing your headstand, keep going. Keep doing it. So if headstand is a less challenging pose for you, if you're physically able to get up there and hold it, really focus on your breathing here. It may feel weird to breathe deep into your belly when you're upside down, but really focus on that. See if you can slow your heart rate down, calm your breath, maybe even working towards extending your exhales to be twice as long as your inhales. So there's more challenges that you can add to a pose without physically diving deeper. So take a couple more breaths here. And then meeting in that child's pose. Use an inhale, walk your hands towards your body, come up to seated on your feet. And this time I invite you to tuck your toes underneath so the balls of your feet are on the floor and you're up on your heels. So it's just a little extra stretch for your feet, something we don't always do. So from here, let's take a few shoulder rolls backwards and forwards, and then neutral. Inhale to lengthen your spine, exhale, turn your gaze over to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, turn your gaze over to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, chin towards your chest. Inhale, nose up towards the ceiling. So we're going to take some semicircles across the back of your, the back side of your body. Be very careful here. There's lots of little things going on in your neck. So if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. So with your nose up towards the ceiling, take a deep breath in. Exhale, start to rock your right ear towards your right shoulder. Inhale, roll your head across your back, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, over to the right. Inhale, over to the left. So go a few more times. We spend a lot of time looking down. Maybe it's a phone, keyboard, books, whatever we look at. So we do a lot of stretching for the back neck without meaning to. So this is a nice little counter. Take one more to the right, one more to the left, and come on back to neutral. Go ahead and untuck your toes, bump your hips to either side, stretch those legs out long. Bend into your right knee, hop your right leg over, or your right foot over your left leg. Keep the left leg long, or tuck your left heel in towards your right hip. Sit up tall. Take a deep breath in. With your exhale, twisting to the right. So bringing your right hand behind your back onto the floor, sitting with a tall spine. You want to make sure you're not leaning and curving your spine while you're rotating it. Check in with your shoulders. Notice if one is lifting up higher than the other. Check in with your chin. Is it parallel with the floor? Take another big breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, untwist, untangle. Stretch your left leg, stretch your right leg, shake it out. And going to the other side, bend your left knee, hop that left foot over. Right leg stays long, or you tuck it in. So nice and tall. Inhale deeply. Exhale, turning to the left. Left hand to the floor, right hand for support. Check in with the spine, shoulders, chin, breath. Another big breath in. And full breath out. Inhale, untwist, untangle, shake it out. And we're going to come down onto the floor. You're going to want some room behind you. I always forget that part until it's too late. So, room behind you. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a hug here. Maybe rock from side to side. You can have your head on the floor. You can lift your nose towards your knees. Go ahead and lower your feet down to the floor. Walk your heels in towards your hips. Reach your fingertips down towards your heels. Maybe they graze, maybe they don't. Plant your palms firmly. We're going to go through a few rolling bridge poses. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lift your hips up. Inhale, slowly lower back down. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. 2 more times. Allow your breath to guide you. And coming back down. From here, stretch your feet towards the ceiling. We're going to come into a plow pose. So if that's not in your practice, that's okay. You can just stay here in your inversion. If you'd like to work towards the plow, you're going to bump your feet towards the ceiling. Catch your lower back with your hands. So starting in your shoulder stand, flex your feet. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, start to lower your right toes to the floor, above your head. Keep lifting that left foot up towards the ceiling. And slowly bring your right foot back up to meet the left. And swap sides. Slowly lower the left toes down to the floor above your ceiling, above your head. And back up. Now both at the same time. Slowly, gently. Go as far as you can. Try to keep your legs long, but don't walk out your knees. If your toes rest on the floor, maybe you let go of your lower back, placing your palms on the floor. Breathe well here. Don't turn your gaze from side to side. You don't want any extra pressure on your neck. Take another big breath in and full breath out. If your hands are still on your lower back, bring them to the floor for support. You're going to use them as brakes, slowly lowering your spine back towards the floor. Using control, using all that strength that you have, and bringing your feet back down to the floor. So you're going to have your knees bent still. We're going to tangle ourselves up again. So inhale, stretch your right foot towards the ceiling. Exhale, cross your ankle over your left thigh, and reach your right knee away from your right shoulder. So opening up through this right hip, coming into a reclined pigeon. Inhale, open your arms out wide. Exhale, sweep your arms forward. You're going to bring your right arm underneath your left. So maybe you bring right hand to left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder, giving yourself a hug. Maybe you bring the backs of your hands towards each other. Maybe you tangle yourself up even more, coming into eagle arms. Lift your elbows away from your chest. Two more breaths here. When you come to your third inhale, start to unravel your arms, open your arms out wide. Keeping your legs just as they are in this figure four shape. Use an exhale, allow the sole of your right foot to come to the floor on the left side of your body. So taking a twist over to the left. Keep reaching that right knee away from your right shoulder. Try not to let it hug in. With your next inhale, rolling back onto your back, uncross your right leg. Going into the other side, inhale, stretch your left leg up, exhale, cross it over. Left knee away from your left shoulder, left foot is flexed. Feel that opening through your left hip this time. Your arms are already wide, take a deep breath in, exhale, sweep them forward, left under right, right on top. Opposite as last time, so you can take whichever grip feels right to you this time. Doesn't have to be the same thing you did before. Choose your own adventure, and then lift your elbows away from your chest. Another big breath in, and a full breath out. Unravel your arms, stretch your arms out wide, keeping your legs in the same shape that they're already in. Use an exhale, twisting to the right. Sole of your left foot comes to the outside of your right hip. Take two more breaths here. Use your own third inhale to roll onto your back. Uncross your legs, hug your knees towards your chest. Any sort of movement or stillness that feels nice here. Coming to stillness, bring your arms on the insides of your knees, grab the outside edges of your feet, turn the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling, knees drop towards your armpits, happy baby. You can also hold on to your ankles, shins, reach your arms on the outsides of your legs towards your thighs, whatever feels right to you. Try to keep your lower back down on the floor. If you feel it lifting up, you might be trying a little too hard. So take one of the other grips and see how that feels. You can have your knees further away from your armpits if that helps keep your lower back grounded. From here, bring the soles of your feet together, lower them down to the floor, knees are wide, coming into a reclined bound angle. Take 2 breaths here. And then working your way into your final relaxation, your Shavasana, your horse pose. You can keep your body just as it is, or maybe you stretch your legs long into a more traditional version, letting your feet fall away from each other. Set up any props, blankets, pillows, anything that you would like to make this more cozy. Close your eyes. Allow your breath to return to normal. And take one more scan of your physical body. Relax your toes, your feet, your ankles. Relax your calves, shins, knees and thighs. Relax your hips, buttocks, abdomen and chest. Relax your low back, middle back, your upper back and shoulders. Relax your upper arms, your elbows, forearms. Relax your wrists, hands and fingers. Relax your neck, relax your head. If there's any area of your body not relaxed right now, inhale, send your awareness, your energy, your prana there. And exhale, encourage it to relax and let go. And relax your mind. Notice any thoughts or feelings that don't serve you. If you find anything you don't need to take with you today, inhale just to acknowledge their presence. And exhale, encourage them to move on and let go. Allow yourself to lie here still and relaxed in body and mind for a few more moments. As long as you'd like. But when you feel ready, start to bring some movement back to your body. Wiggling your toes, fingers, ankles, wrists. Maybe rocking your head from side to side, stretching your arms out long. Give your body whatever gentle movements it needs to help reawaken right now. And as you're ready, hug your thighs towards your belly. Give yourself one more squeeze here. Roll over onto the right side of your body. Coming to the fetal position. Rest for another moment. And gently press yourself upright. Come to a comfortable seat. Doesn't matter which seat you choose. Keeping your eyes closed. Use an inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your palms together. Draw your thumbs through your third eye and down to your heart. Inhale, lift the corners of your mouth and smile. Thank yourselves for stepping on your mat today and spending a little extra time, energy, and love on you. Namaste.